really excited to introduce you guys to Michelle Saunderson. And the topic tonight is stepping out of the spiritual closet. So Michelle is an intuitive energy healer who has a passion for raising the vibration of the planet and connecting people at a deep soul level. She has an expertise in shamanic healing, soul coaching, card readings, and health and nutrition. Woohoo! Michelle is also a keynote speaker who shares her story about transitioning from a police officer to a healer and loves to inspire others to step outside of the spiritual closet. Oh, I can't wait. Michelle's going to be chatting with us tonight on how she stepped out of the spiritual closet and took back her power after a life-altering healing where she was given strong messages as to her passion and purpose. Oh, I love hearing that. She will share how she transitioned from being a full-time police officer to an energy healer, and she's going to share some tips with us tonight on how we can also find our passion and our purpose. Awesome, Michelle. Welcome. So excited to have you tonight.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. What a great introduction. I'm like, did I write that or did you write that? That's a bit of a mix. I think that was
bit of both.
It was so good. Yeah, it's like it explains exactly what I do, because sometimes I struggle to tell people what I do in a few short sentences, because everyone could come and say, oh, what do you do? I'm a life coach, or I'm a, whatever it is. So I work with my sister. That's her over there behind me. And so together we brand as those two sisters, but we both have our expertise in different things. So she really loves the mindset and the lifestyle coaching, which I get into as well. But my true passion is the spirituality and the soul connections and the deep healing work that I do with people. And as I said, my absolute purpose in life is to raise the vibration, like one little soul at a time, and then those people go out. And you're doing the same thing, Melissa. I can feel it, like with your retreats, and you're going out and you're empowering all those women, and then their lights switch back on. So I call myself a spiritual electrician, because I allow people to turn their lights back on.
Oh, I love that.
And then they go and help other people do the same thing. So that is my it just lights me up. Again, light. And working with energy, I think that's another thing. When I like to say I'm a spiritual electrician, it's because I work with energy. I'm an energy healer. It is a crazy story.
I can't wait
to delve straight into it. Or what, did you have another question?
Well, I do. I have a question I ask everybody. What's your favorite food?
Oh my Lord, I absolutely love food. I love all food.
Me too.
I think my favorite style of food would be Vietnamese, because it's so fresh and it's clean, but it's tasty and it's filling. So I love like mint, coriander, and all the different flavors that come with Vietnamese. And yeah, anything. I'm not a sweet tooth. I just love healthy. I'm not full vegan, but I love vegan food.
Yeah.
But I actually get a lady coming deliver food like all pre-made for me now. Like it's all made at home, and it's just unprocessed. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, processed sugar-free, all homemade with like 50 million amazing ingredients and everything. And that's how I love to eat. It's just the shaping, the time to organize yourself to get that done. So anything healthy and light and tasty, I'm up for, which is why I love Vietnamese.
That's like the perfect diet for me, because exactly what I teach my clients. And I think it's important to have lots of fresh herbs in your food.
Yeah.
It's so much flavor, and then it's just for digestion and cleansing. And
and it's unprocessed. Like anything unprocessed is good for you. That's like no diet. I love that. Like that's my thing in life. No diets. We don't diet. We just eat what makes us feel good. And
100%,
eating KFC and pizza doesn't make us feel good. Like every now and again. I'm also a big one for balance. Every now and again, like you might have a bit of a blowout and have a few drinks if you drink alcohol, and then the next day eat KFC, and then you remember why you didn't eat it. You don't eat it for the next 6 months or a year. Sometimes it's been a year. I'm like, oh, I feel like a dirty little KFC chicken or something. It's gross, but it's satisfying. If you have it when you feel like it, satisfies the craving, and then you don't think about it for the next year. That's my idea anyway. So I think you've got the same ideas. But I'd much prefer Vietnamese over KFC.
The last time I had KFC. But that's also
pretty rare.
I would make me sick. So the decision's been made for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So I think I'm dying to hear the story about police officer to energy healer. And when I was reading through some of the stuff for tonight, I was like, Oh my gosh, this is like going to be the best story ever. I cannot wait.
Crazy. It's a crazy story.
So, yeah,
I still like pinch myself to think, is this really me? Like, seriously. And I do have a podcast and where I interview people, and I'll probably ask you, Melissa, if by the sound of it, I mean, I want to get to know you a little bit more, but by the sound of it, you'd have a similar background. And I interview people on their soul stories. I call it Michelle Ann, the soul stories.
Oh, wow.
And on people's journey through life, and there's a lot of them is having spiritual awakenings or finding gifts they didn't know they had, or it's just a range of different people. But I start that podcast with my story because so many people say to me, oh my God, how the hell did that happen? How did you go from doing that to what you're doing now? So if anyone's interested, it's on Spotify. It's just called Michelle Ann, the Soul Stories. And I'm sure, Melissa, I can give you the link and you can pass it out, because that is itself is raising the vibration. It's helping people step out of the spiritual closet, because I have people listening to that I wouldn't in a million years think would be into this type of stuff. Which I love. It's getting to the mainstream, which is my job on this planet Earth, is to get this out to I say mainstream, but the people that are just not as open to this. Or it's more fear. Most people are in fear of it because they don't understand it. But I'm in the opposite. I don't understand it at all, but I trust. And so the stories on the podcast, but I'll give you the brief version tonight, otherwise we're here till midnight. So basically I was working full time as a police officer, full shift work. It's been, I think I was in the job 23 years nearly. So it's all I've known. Very masculine, very in your structure, very, what policing's like. I'm not so much on the road, but I was still doing my firearms. I was still very much in my masculine. And I went off to do I got a gift voucher to do an energy healing. I was certainly leaning towards the hippie side of things, but I was a believer, but not quite. So I turned up to this healing. My mum had given me a gift voucher, and I was like, I don't even know what this is. I do believe. And she started talking about full moon and crystals and sage, and I'm thinking, okay, this is all too much, and you think, I believe, but maybe not that much. So I thought, if nothing else, I'll get a relaxation, meditation, whatever. I laid on the bed, and within about 30 seconds, I started to get these tinglings up my arm. And it felt like the TENS machine at the physio, if anyone's ever had that put on them. It was like that, but it had been turned up too high. So it was like these electrical jolts through my arm, and it had been turned up too high. So it was making my muscles rigid. It was like making my muscles contract. And my hands went from there to like out like this, opening. And I'm thinking in my head, what the F and hell's going on here? Excuse the language. And I was starting to get really scared, and I just looked at Vicky. Vicky was the healer, and I'm like, and she goes, "It's okay. It's love. It's light. Don't worry about it. It's pretty much normal." I was like, "Okay." And then it would wash over me and disappear, and then it would start up again, and I couldn't control it. My hands would come out like this, and then they'd come over, and then my hands got pulled out like this at one stage. My head was like moving. It all sounds very crazy. Like if
I've actually experienced something.
Yes, a lot of people have. And at the time I didn't know that it was probably quite normal. And it is energy. That makes sense. Your body moves. And at one stage my body started like shaking. Had crystals, all down the middle of my body, and they flew off the table because my body was like doing this thing. And I was thinking, oh my God. And right at the end, I just went with it, and eventually the more I didn't fight it, the more it just came, and I just trusted that it was meant to be. And at the end of it, I was actually pulled up off the table. So I'm lying flat on the table, and like I was bent in half. So my arms came up, and I couldn't physically show people the next day how this happened because my abs weren't actually strong enough at the time to do it. So it's pulling up, and it was like little by little to the point where my hands ended up over my toes. And I remember looking at Vicky. I think I opened my eyes, and I'm like, Vicky, what's going on? She's like, it's okay. There's a message for you. And my fingers were down over my toes, and in my head, I'm like, what's this? What's the message? Tell me the message. Whatever the message is, it's quite strong. And straight within my head, I just got this thing saying, you need to do this type of work. I was like, oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. So that's how it all started.
Wow.
And after that, she opened something up in me. I can't even explain it. I started journaling and then channeling, automatic writing, just crazy. Infinity symbols coming. I had this like being pulled, and I'm not religious at all, but I was pulled into like the sort of like the cross. And I said to her at the end, what is that all about? Like, I'm not religious. And she says, well, Jesus was just a human that walked the earth and is now ascended. Like, I I was like, oh, okay. And then I had my spirit guide drawn probably 6 months after that with a complete stranger at this expo. And she started drawing infinity symbols, which is what came out through that healing. And then she's like, hang on. I just started drawing and I was coming out of the picture and I was like, oh my God. And I was looking at it, I'm thinking, if this is Jesus, I'm going to die. And she just turns around like nonchalantly and goes, it's Jesus, Jesus Christ. I was like, what the heck? Like, this is nuts. Yeah, but that's quite common too. I didn't know that. It's just a spirit guide that's an ascended master. It's just, it was weird. And the picture's over there. I'll show you later if you like. It's powerful. It's a powerful picture. Yeah, so I went and did a Reiki course. And then it just I just kept trusting my intuition, and the breadcrumbs just led me from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, because Reiki just didn't do it for me. It was too structured, and I just, like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and I was getting thinking in my head, what's for dinner? Like, it just didn't work for me, but I just wanted to keep moving around. So I was doing all this weird, whatever my intuition was telling me, I was doing across the body. And then I got drawn into a shamanic style course. I didn't know what it was. I'm a big yes person. I just say yes to everything. If my gut tells me,
yes.
Yeah, if my gut tells me or my intuition's screaming, do it, and I don't even know what it is, I just do it. Yeah. So I signed up for that, and then I was looking at the teacher, and she was doing the exact same things. Yeah.
Before you had this energy healing experience, were you quite connected to your gut, and did you intuitively respond to what was coming up then?
Yes, but not as much. The more I stepped,
awareness around.
Yes, I was always a feeler, always felt things, which I've done my numerology, and that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But I didn't trust it as much, and I didn't have enough space in my life to have it drop in.
Yes, yeah.
So actually, now that you say it, I just got it in then. It had been there all along. I was having these big signs, but I kept thinking they were coincidences.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, surely. And when I was in it, I was like, that is so, it can't be, it's too weird not to be accurate. But then give it a couple of days, I'd watered it down in my brain, like, oh, maybe I imagined it. And it's not till I started journaling after I had the healing that it all started to drop in for me. And the journaling proved to me there was no mistake, because you could see it written down. Like the symbols and the signs would come out, and then a week later it would all make sense, and the journal would be like a little history book of, oh yeah, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't make it up. Yeah. And I'm very much normal. As I said, I was a police officer.
Yes.
I wasn't.
Yeah. Where you were at before this all happened, and how in touch you were with yourself and your feelings and emotions and intuition, I guess, mainly. Yeah,
definitely there, but just not giving enough space.
Yeah.
And then, like most people, and then once you give it the space in your life, then all the signs and it's dropping in for you, and you start to trust that. And that's why I say help people step out of the spiritual closet, because the signs have been there probably all along, but people either don't trust them or they're scared of them.
Yes.
That's another big point of it. They feel it. You find most people will have a story for you about that was a bit woo-woo or that was a bit weird, but they're either too scared to say it, or they just write it off as like, oh, that's just, that's crazy. Even when I was away on a management trip with the police, I was with superintendents, inspectors, assistant commissioners, and we were away on a work trip, and I was sitting there and I said, let's not talk about police work. Let's talk about if we weren't in the police, what would we do? And they went around the circle, and when they got to me, they said, what would you do? And I said, oh, I'd be an energy healer. Because by this stage I'd had and they laughed at me. They thought they sort of acted like I was crazy. And then I said, no, you've all got a story. What is it? And I went around the circle. Every single one of those persons had a story. Oh yeah, I saw my dead father. Oh yeah, this happened to me. Oh, that. But no one's game enough to say it until that person gives them permission and says it's okay to talk about this stuff.
Yes.
So everyone's got a story, everybody.
And feeling okay to share that and make it real.
Yes, and to step away from the fear of judgment, which is what most people are fearful of, being judged and not being good enough and not worthy enough.
Absolutely.
So when you get past that, then it's so much easier.
Yeah, which I think I find even people that I work with that feel they do have that, and then it's not until you sort of, you know, do the work that you see that we all have a lot of work to do there in really seeing our worth and our potential and that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's
going
lots
back to what you were saying before I interrupted
Oh
you.
no, it's good. I was getting on a roll sometimes. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm talking too
No,
much.
so
There's a lot of comments on here. I just can't see them.
That's all right. I'll read them out for you. So
Okay,
how did
perfect.
you get into the police force, out of the police force from that?
So I'm still, I won't go too much into that because I'm still technically employed.
Oh, okay.
I won't go into that side of it. I know this is probably not a public forum, but even before I was, I won't go there. But I've got down to 1 or 2 days a week. You guys have probably read between the lines, but I was only working 2 days a week. So, but I'm still technically employed by the Queensland Police Service, so I won't say anything more around that.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll just leave that at that. But it gradually dropped off. As I said, I was working full time, and then as I started my business, I obviously was financially able to drop back and have a secondary employment and do the healing and the bits and pieces on the side until it's grown exponentially. Yes.
I did
It's
something
grown.
similar actually with my business, did it all from the side.
Yes.
I grew,
Yes.
oops,
I did
I don't know how I did that, sorry. I grew from started my nutrition mindset coaching on weekends and at night, and slowly developed that till, I could step away. But it's when you really step away from that full-time job, I think that your business really takes off, you take off.
Yes.
The way you show up for your clients and your community and everything is just so much more powerful.
Yes, because you give it space.
Yeah, but it's that kind of fear.
Oh yeah. So I haven't been in at work since early October, and the fear, not the fear, sorry, the space is just so much more. I didn't realize how much of my time was being taken up.
Yeah.
And I was only working a couple of days a week, but it was still taking up it was still 40%. It was still a lot, even though it sounds like a couple of days a week. I'm a single mother. I've got 2 young children as well, and I'm running a business. So there was a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
So it was taking a lot of space from what I was, my passion and purpose, which is this work.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, but I talk about it all the time at work. I was more than happy to tell. Oh, what crazy stories have you got today, Saundo? And they'd line up at my desk and want to know, about all the birds' wings and the spiritual stuff that I'd come across. And yeah, a lot of them start, especially the women. A lot of women now follow me and are in my tribe and listen to my podcast, and a lot of them have done my retreats and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely the word's getting out there. Yeah. I had them doing meditation in their lunch hour. It was great. I had the diffuser in there. They go, oh, what smells you've got on today?
Oh, that's awesome.
Some of them would come and pick oils, like these blokey blokes, and they'd come and pick their essential oils for the day, and they want me to.
Oh,
if I hadn't put the diffuser on that day, they'd be like, oh, where's the diffuser? Why isn't no, they didn't call it a diffuser, the Bernie thing, I think they called it. So yeah.
And I think there's that I don't know how to say it, like that natural response. You kind of pull towards certain things that your body's actually calling for, whether it be smelling an essential oil or learning more about the spiritual world, so that because you've got that calling, you've got that pull towards it. And it's I guess we take on as much as we can sort of handle at the time, and then we take on a bit more and a bit more. So
it's all to do with timing and synchronicity. There's no mistakes. There's no mistakes. You and I talking tonight. As soon as I met you, I was like, oh my God, she's my lady. You can feel the energy.
Yeah.
And there's no mistake that the people, I have no idea who's watching, but whoever's watching is meant to be watching for a reason.
To watch it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that, because even myself, what I experienced today, just something that I experienced this afternoon, and I was like, I'm so glad I'm doing my women's health sessions tonight. I need to be around supportive women. So everything happens, and you just, it's just knowing that's there. So tell us more about how we can get out of our out of our spiritual closet and learn more about spirituality and connecting with ourselves and the spiritual world, I guess, and what it actually means.
Yes, so I even try not to use the word spiritual. I got a bit nervous about using that, not because I'm embarrassed, but it sometimes can turn people away because they think it's something that it's actually not. And I just say to people, spirituality is just a connection with something that's bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you call it, you know, God, universe, source, Buddha, whatever it is, it's a connection to something that's more than you. And that's what I always said spirituality is. And the big thing is to getting out of your head and dropping into your heart space. That's the big thing here. We are like so in our head because of technology and the pace of this world, that until we drop out of our head and into our heart, that's when you connect in with yourself, which is spirituality. Yourself is connecting in, is spirituality, really.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you look at it like that. And the other tip is really important, is putting yourself around people that are, like you said, doing the same thing or interested in the same thing. So making sure that you're in the right, I hate to say Facebook groups, but you do know, like around those types of communities, the communities.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, doing like things like retreats and workshops, and like I'm sure you're the same as me, we run lots of free events. Like it doesn't even always have to be paid. I do cacao circles, which is face-to-face, but I have people Zoom in online. About 20, 25 women, and they just share openly, and that's the tribe. You know, so if you see things like that jumping on your Facebook feed, or sorry, that's showing my age, Instagram probably. Oh, we're on Facebook, so that's okay. The IG feeds. Then it's probably there for a reason. If it catches your eye, it's just trusting yourself and going, oh, I read somewhere the number, everything comes in threes, and the third time you hear something, to trust it.
Yeah.
So if you hear something, oh my God, that's a third person that's mentioned to me cacao, or that's a third time I've heard spirituality this week, then that to me is the little trigger in my head to say, okay, I get it, I'm listening, and being open.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
Just trusting. Just got to trust. It's a real big thing.
Yeah. And so how do you sort of work with women in supporting themselves in the kind of field that you work in?
Yes. So the big one for us with my sister, as I said, we're those two sisters, is that we have a huge community. We just had our group coaching call just then, and the people just in tears, and they're supporting each other, and they're watching how each other have grown. So the big one for us is the community. So we've got a Facebook group called Time to Shine #2, like on our business name. And from that, and then we run so many different things that a lot of it is free, that people don't have to pay straight away until they've built the rapport with us. And then they go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I see what these girls are about. And you'd be the same, that your people follow you to a point, and then they're like, yeah, I'm ready for that retreat. I trust her. I know her. So yeah, like we do, so we obviously do our half-day workshop, but we do cacao circles, we do meetups, we do master classes.
Is it more like a coaching session style, or is it just women sharing, or is it you teaching certain things of the, I guess, I don't know what word to use.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes. So the cacao circles are very much about sharing, but also just allowing people to come in and see, just dip their toe in the water. What is all this about? And then they feel it. It's not even about teaching anything. It's about being around that vibration, and they get it. They feel it. They've said yes to the universe, or whatever you want to call it, by attending, and they feel supported by a group of women, and people like sometimes in tears within 5 minutes, because they're just being allowed to speak and be listened to.
Yeah, the space.
Without judgment.
Yeah.
And we do teach a little bit of spiritual, like I give a little bit of a talk about the shamanic practice and why we're drinking cacao, but it's not really, to me, it's never about the content. It's about the feeling. Yeah. So most of the stuff my sister and I do is coaching based, but also community feeling based. And then I also do healings here in my space. This I said to Melissa before we started, this is my garage. So I have my table out here, and I do like one-on-one healings, but they're pretty rare these days. It's mostly we work with women in that are really ready to change in big packages, just easier when they're all in. But yeah, lots of free stuff.
And so it's more like the energy healing work that you do when it's the one-on-one stuff.
Yes, yes, I do channeling. I don't understand how it works. It doesn't matter, I suppose, but it all came out after that healing that I had. And the more I trusted my intuition, the more it just started flowing, like things started coming out of my mouth, and became like a sound healing.
Right.
Like people would say, I can't sing to save my life. I cannot hold a tune. But what comes out of my mouth in healing someone, people will say that you had a crystal bowl. I said, I don't even own one. It's the vibration of whatever's coming through me is at that level of like a crystal singing bowl sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then I've started channeling. Once I can get out of my own brain, I start channeling these really deep and profound messages to people. And I don't even know where it comes from. I do, but I don't. I just trust that whatever's coming out is meant to come out for them.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That isn't cool. That's a great gift to have too.
Yeah, I'm really lucky.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? I've checked through comments and I can't see any questions. So now's the time to pop your questions in. And Michelle's also going to pop her details, or I'll get Abby to pop her details in the comment section underneath. And also, if you watch the replay, if you can hashtag replay, and if you have any questions for Michelle when you watch the replay, please pop them in, and if she doesn't see them, I'll contact her and you guys have some questions, because you know, sometimes you think about things after and you go, oh, hang on a second, and it's such a short time, we don't get long enough to chat.
Yeah, so, I know. Definitely pop your questions in there, because I'd love to help. Like, that's our job.
Delve into a few more things early next year, have a chat in this space, and get some of the questions before even.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because
I like that.
Jump on tonight. So, but no questions. So maybe there's. Hang on, we have got a question. Let's have a look. Anything you recommend reading to learn more about spirituality?
Oh, there's so many books out there, but I am. This is the one that fell into my lap. Yeah, hang on. I'll grab this one. I'll show you my spirit guide picture on here.
Yeah. So, and
this is what I talk about, trust. So this is my spirit guide picture.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I nearly fell off.
Yeah, that's freaky.
And the infinity symbol down here twice. And I kept channeling infinity symbols like non-stop. And she did a big infinity up the middle, and she said, are you a healer? And at that stage, I was like, oh, I don't know. I think so. She goes, yes, that you are. Just, oh, okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And the book that I've found really helpful was this one, You Already Know, by Helen Jacobs.
You Already Know, Helen Jacobs.
Yeah. And I've got a program called Soul School, and it's a funny story. I was at Tony Robbins down in Sydney. And we're so excited. My friend and I missed our plane. Yeah. So, but we'd just been on Tony Robbins. So we're like, it happens to us, it happens for us, not to us, and giggling. And because we missed our plane, we had about 40, longer to wait. So she said, I need to buy a book. I'm going to go into the bookstore. And I never buy anything from the airport because it's ridiculously priced. Yeah, totally. And so I said, oh, come and have a look. There's no rush. And we're there. And then I just got this thing in my head, oh, you need a book. And this book just jumped out at me. I was like, oh, that's the book I need. And this landed. And I've been looking for something to base my soul school off, like structure. And I started reading. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Yeah. So yeah, it's so well written.
So that's awesome.
Yes. Have a look at that.
Stacey Lee said, thank you for the recommendation. And Gail said, how do you do your card readings?
Yeah, so card readings. I keep looking. My cards are over there. I don't do them as much anymore because it's not my real passion. Because again, I didn't think I was a card reader. I was like, I'm not a card reader. But it just kept being correct. So all I do, and everyone had, and I used to get caught up in there's one way, but there's not. Whatever you feel is the right way. I literally just shuffle it and shut my eyes, and things jump at me. Like either they fly out of the pack, or I feel they're stuck to my hand, or whatever it is. And that's how I do it. And I just do oracle cards, and I just feel everyone's different, but sometimes I still use the book because I don't trust myself enough, but certain words in the book will jump out and the messages it's like putting the pieces together. Yeah. Do you do card readings?
Yeah, I do. I like self-taught myself, and then I've gone and done a few like workshops, and everybody does it differently. And
Yes.
so I've gone back and done it, and then I tried doing it other people's ways, and then I've gone back and done it my own way because that's what feels.
Yeah, it's your way.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I thought you had to do these spreads and all this, but no, you just do it whatever your intuition or what do you feel is the right way.
I like having it as part of, like, it's part of my morning routine, and there's quite a I'm going to use this word again, but spiritual kind of way that my morning is structured, and it's before, you know, anyone gets up. It's when it's really quiet, and, you know, I have a mission statement, I have my incense, my diffusers, my oracle cards, and it's just such a beautiful way that it doesn't matter what way you wake up, it's changed straight away. And the card that you pull or that falls out or jumps out, which still makes me laugh when it happens, like they just, you know, go flying in the air, like, did that happen? You know, they just are so exactly what you need to hear, or exactly what you're feeling, or you're confused about, or whatever. So I think they're a great, like, little support tool. And
tools.
Yeah,
that's what I like. I stopped doing readings for people because I felt way too much pressure that people were thinking I was going to tell them the future, or that I was a medium. I didn't want the pressure. So now in my healings, quite often I get a message, I need cards, and they're really powerful because I'm in that trance-like state. I literally shut my eyes and I can feel, and I just grab a card, and it's ridiculous how accurate they are.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So,
I really like that you have just gone, like you said, from that masculine world to that very feminine, flowing, non-structured way of life, and you feel really in tune. And
that's so funny. This is what our coaching call was on. We just finished half an hour ago. It was exactly that. It was about ease and spaciousness within structure. Really cool.
And that's me all the time. My balance is how do you, for me, because I am all in the head, and keep myself connected to the heart so that I am balanced out. Otherwise I'm too much in my masculine, or I get burnt out. So I'm constantly doing that. I'd like to have that more natural, but, you know, there's that you know, loving what I do and like my clients and stuff, so it's hard. But we've gone to heaps far over. I'll just see if there's any questions. 2 people have asked. Stacey Lee just downloaded the book. So
cool. This lady should be paying me commission.
So Gail wants to know, how do you drop into your heart? And Stacey Lee said that's a great question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. So I find the cacao, I don't know if anyone's heard of cacao, but it's a
goddess retreat.
Oh, perfect. It's a heart opener. So it opens up your heart chakra. And it's this medicine. I can't, again, explain how it works. It works on an energetic level. So I drink cacao every day. I actually set up a little cacao business on the side because I was drinking so much of it.
Yeah, it gets expensive, so you kind of need to start buying in bulk. Yes.
Yeah, so Heart to Heart Cacao is my brand, and then we wholesale it out. But yeah, have cacao every day, but just finding stillness in your day. It may be with cacao, or it may be literally sitting, like when I'm manic typing, so you're like this, get type crazy, and because you love what you do, and you can feel your body all worked up, and then I just go and sit outside and just stare at the clouds.
And just outside. And I think, you probably agree, the rose essential oil rubbed on your heart.
That's a good one. Or geranium.
Yep. Any of the flower ones, really. And that's stopping and breathing. So you're just giving that space to get into that. Yeah.
Any sort of meditation, we've recorded some meditations as well for our people, just so that they can just drop out of the busyness and just back into themselves.
Yeah.
Any stillness in any form though will work. And
it takes a while if you're used to being a certain way. You know, if you're just a go person, it takes a while. But if you keep persevering with it, you can get to that. And and that morning routine that you're talking about is so important. Like, do not react to your phone. This is my big one. Yes, I know.
Like, I see stuff pop in and I'm not looking at it. 9 o'clock, don't look.
Yeah.
Or don't react to it. If you see it, yeah, that's great, but I'm not reacting till 9 o'clock. This is my time for me. And I get back to those people when I start work.
That's why I have my beautiful assistant Abby, who's on here tonight, because
Yes.
she does that for me, and I'm so grateful, because it means that I get to go back to that flow state of the morning, like you said, because I'm like not like that during the day. So yeah, you need your morning. Yeah.
And you just get snippets of it. Like, as long as you get a little bit every day, you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a balance. You'll have days when you're crazy, and then other days you're like, oh, I'm in the goddess flow today. And then sometimes I'll sit here from 9, and sometimes I don't even get up till 5 o'clock, and I think, oh my God, I just did a 9 to 5 in my own business.
Yeah.
And other days I sit around and drink cacao all day and chat with my sister. Like, it's just the balance.
Yeah. And that's what's fun as well, because it's never the same, and you're chopping and changing, and you can move yourself from head to heart and back again, and from that, moving fast and slowing down. So it is good to be able to do that rather than always being in the one state and not
So who wants me to interview Melissa for my podcast? Does everyone want that?
Yay!
Put a yes below. Tell me you want to interview.
Yeah, come on, lady.
I think that we need a more chat. We need another hour together. So
I know.
If you vote for that. We'll get Melissa on.
Oh, thank you.
I want to hear you. I'll get to hear your story then, and we can share that with my people. So
yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, they're saying yes. Thank you.
Yay! Righto, it's a done deal.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much. We've gone way over, and I appreciate you staying up so late, and all you ladies for staying on so long. So it looks like there's quite a lot of you on tonight. I really appreciate it. Any of you guys that watch the replay, yes, they're all saying yes, and thank you to you as well, Michelle.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, if you watch the replay, #replay. If you've got any questions for Michelle, pop them in. You can tag her in, and if she doesn't see it, I will make sure she knows about it, because she would love to support you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you
sure.
so much, Michelle. I would love to be part of your podcast, and if I do, I'll pop it in here as well, so you ladies can all listen to me.
To your story.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
Ooh. All right. Lovely to connect.
Tuesday night. Yes, you too. Thank you.
Okay. See you later.
Everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.